All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is great to see you all. Welcome to Pesach Boot Camp. Okay, so we call it Pesach Boot Camp, and I'll tell you why. Because like a boot camp, remember Richard Simmons? Who remembers Richard Simmons? Right? Sweating to the oldies.
You're too young.
I may be too young, but I know Richard Simmons. In fact, remember Richard Simmons? Sweating to the oldies. Now there's a conspiracy theory about where he is and if he's okay. There's in the recent years, it's the whole situation.
No, he's back. He's back. He looks wonderful.
Okay, fine. So that's good news. Hi, Mom. That's good news. Because,
the aliens brought him back.
Always. So I got to tell you the funny story. Here's a funny story. So Chabad of Beverly Hills, before they got their newer building, they were renting a space. It was a building that had two parts to it. One part was hello, welcome. One part was the Chabad shul, and the other half, Richard Simmons' studio. Literally, and you would go Shabbos morning, and you could hear the beats and the music. Sweating to the oldies. Oh baby, listen. Everyone did that. Huh? I totally was. I think. Good to see you. Come on in. We'll make space.
Just grabbing a water.
Yeah, grab a water, grab some cookies, grab some chametz while it's still okay. I asked him, like, is the shul kosher for Pesach? I got a non-definitive answer. So I'm like, well, now it's not. So there you go. Here we go. So here's the point. This is boot camp, but it's not. But we no need to wear spandex or to bring workout gear. What we're doing here is going through some themes of the holiday: high energy, high impact spiritual workout. That's the plan. That's the aim. That's the agenda. And hey, Norm. And we are going to rock and roll. So the theme that I picked tonight, now when it comes to Pesach, I will tell you there are so many themes. As you all know, you can sit at a Seder for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You can sit at a Seder for any number of years, and it could always be a new experience. It could also be an experience that you fall asleep at. Either way, right, there's always new insights. I don't know, by the way, if there's a more commented on Jewish work than the Haggadah. In fact, I would venture, and I'm not looking up this fact, I'm turning my ringer on silent, but I would venture to say that there is no other Jewish text that has as many commentaries as the Pesach Haggadah. Because, come on in, bring it in, we're Hamish. If I have any hard questions, I'll pass it to you. Come. So, say hi to everybody.
Funny.
I just wanted to add something also. I don't think there's any book of Jewish, of traditional Jewish, whatever, that has as many versions as a Haggadah.
Yeah, yes. Well put. It's it's not an answer because you asked a question, but that is 100% true. And as far as different editions, yes, there are many books of Torah that have been published and many versions of the actual Torah. But I don't believe as many editions as the Haggadah. The Haggadah is the more editions, more commentaries, but it's not a numbers game. It's a qualitative. It's not just quantitative. It's qualitative. The Haggadah, the Passover Haggadah, the rituals that we do, they're so rich. Hence the name ritual. Said no one ever. Right. The rituals are so rich in meaning, so rich in spirit, so rich in the very fabric of family and community and Yiddishkeit and continuity and everything like that. So tonight I chose the topic of deception because, as we'll see, the theme of deception is a thread that runs through so much of the Seder. And if I stopped you cold on the street and I said, hey, what are the connections between Passover and deception? You might say, what you talking about, Willis? Right? Like, what that was also a reference, but what is thank you, but what are you saying? Like, what do you mean? What's a deception in Passover? We're not deceiving anybody in Passover. Well, hold my Afikoman because we're about to jump into some deception.
Well, Afikoman, Robin.
Yes.
What are you going to do it?
Well, yeah, exactly. So here we go. Let's get. Oh, good to see you, Soren. Here, grab what? Oh, look at this, Sophie. Welcome. Here, guys, grab some copies. Grab a seat. Standing room only. I'm kidding. Grab a seat, grab some chametz. Listen, we got to get rid of the chametz. There's only one way. There's only one way. The bonfire is coming later. Yeah. Oh no, those are mini matzahs. We just made chocolate chip matzot that look like cookies. Okay, so let's jump in. The topic that we're going to start with, again, deception. Oh, let me tell you just a kind of an outline, but not blow by blow, but just where we're going with this. So here's the point. We're gonna focus on the theme of deception. I'm going to relay. We're going to discuss 3 elements. Here we go. 3. Why not? 3 elements of Pesach that speak to the theme of deception. And then after we do that, we're going to ask the question, why deception? And we're going to get into some insights as to what defines the freedom of Passover and how we can be free in our own lives, in our own experience. It's going to be incredible. All right, I have, for those online, I have the text. We have a nice crowd online. I have the text ready to go to share with you. I want to start with one of my favorite customs. The custom has to do with the Afikoman. I want to take you quickly through the first 4 steps of the Seder. Famously, the Seder is comprised of steps. In fact, the very word Seder means? Order. Seder means order. And the reason why it's called order, right, is because there are steps. In other words, there's an order to the evening. It's not just like, as we say in Yiddish, you know what that means? When there's no order. That reminds me of the rabbi that comes over to the fellow, to the Jew, and he says, hey, why don't you come and join the synagogue? He says, Rabbi, I don't like organized religion. The Chabad rabbi says, ain't nothing organized about this place. So that was a joke. So here's the point. The point is Seder means order. Order in the Passover holiday. That's how it works. We don't show up and it's a balagan and you come and you eat and you throw your matzahs, disco style, frisbee, whatever. No, there's a Seder. There's 15 steps for the Seder. If you open up your Haggadah, you'll find, not that you have one, but conceptually, you will see there's 15 distinct steps in order that you follow these steps. We have some very special guests joining us tonight. Wow. Hey guys. Hey Lazans. Wow. Look at this. Very special guests joining. Amongst everyone, but some very, very special guests. Okay. Mary and Lazan. We have with us David's mom, Holocaust survivor, prolific speaker, international speaker, wrote a book. Wow.
That means you better be good tonight.
I will be on my best behavior. That's how we roll. And David's dad, welcome. Unbelievable. Okay, let's go back into it. So the first 4 steps of the Seder are as follows. Kadesh, where you recite the Kiddush over a cup of wine. Urchatz, where you wash your hands. Karpas, where you dip the vegetable in salt water. And then Yachatz. And that's where we stop for tonight. Yachatz is where you break the middle matzah. You got 3 matzot on your Seder plate, right there on your Seder table. You reach in, you grab the middle matzah, you break it in half, you pull out the bigger half. Now, listen, if you can break that matzah directly down the center to the point that you can't differentiate between bigger and smaller, kol hakavod, good on you. You win the Seder. But if you're like me, you will always end up with one half that's clearly larger than the other, and that's the one that you put away for the Afikoman. The mystics, the Kabbalists, have a custom, or cite the custom to break the Afikoman. Again, you take the larger half, you put it away to the end of the Seder. We'll talk about that soon. The mystical custom is to break that that larger half into 5 pieces, correspond to the 5 elements of Gvura. We don't have time to get into that tonight. You break the Afikoman into 5 pieces, you put it into your Afikoman bag, or Ziploc, or a cloth, whatever you do, and then it gets put away to the end of the meal, i.e., it's the last thing that you eat as part of the meal before the Seder is over. Many have the custom. In many families, there's a custom. What happens to the Afikoman? Go, you tell me the custom. What happens to the Afikoman? Do you have a custom? Who has a custom? Huh?
It's hidden.
Who hides?
I do.
Good. Some have the custom that the parent side, the one leading the Seder, or the parents, hide the Afikoman, and the kids have to find it. Other families have the custom, the opposite. Who hides it?
Kids.
The kids hide it. Thank you. The kids hide it. That would be the opposite. Yes. The kids hide it. The parents have to hide it. Growing up, we had the custom. Yeah, legit. Growing up, we had the custom, and in our family, that the kids would hide the Afikoman. And yeah, absolutely. And then the adults had to find it if they wanted to finish the Seder. Now they have an option. You can totally not finish the Seder. No Afikoman, no dice. That's like no shirts, no shoes, no service, right? So no Afikoman, that's it. Huh?
Another reference.
No, but hold on. But let's just go. So if you don't have an Afikoman, you can't finish the Seder. So the kid says, okay, if you want the Afikoman, it's going to cost you. What's going to cost you? I don't know. New bike, Xbox, PlayStation. I'm kidding. $1, whatever it is, right? So a new set of whatever. So the kid then will basically essentially ransom, right? The what's it called again? The Afikoman for a price, and then the Afikoman gets returned. We are going to focus on that custom because this custom is quite interesting, but also potentially quite problematic, as we shall see. The first thing I want to do is cite the Talmud. The Talmud, the Gemara speaks about different customs on the night of Passover. Of course, one of the major themes on the night of Passover is to engage the children in conversation, because the night of Passover is not a sterile classroom. Here, if we look here at this next slide, as you pull down the slide thing, and like you see the ancient Israelites, that's not how we teach the Seder. That's not how we teach Jewish history. We teach it experientially. It's literally a masterclass in pedagogy is the Seder. You show up, you engage the children through action, through experience. You put foods on the table that are symbolic. They're eating the original food of faith, the original matzah that they baked in their backs. You're eating a taste, not the original. Sorry, that would be old, but it's super stale, even more stale than it currently is. So it's they're eating the matzah. So we eat the matzah. We eat bitter herbs to remind us of the bitterness. We dip things in salt water. We have charosa that reminds us of the mortar. It's so experiential. It's totally hands-on. It's totally gastronomical. It's literally an experience. It's a classroom. It's a laboratory where you're learning in a hands-on, interactive, culinary, gastronomical way that engages all of the senses: sight, smell, taste, touch, and sound. So as part of this, we do specific things on the night of Passover at the Seder to specifically pique the curiosity of the child. So we're going to begin now. Let's begin. Let's just go around with the readings. David, we'll start with you. Text number 1, please, from the Talmud. 1 second, let me pull it up here on our screen for our online crew. And please take it away, Rabbi Eliezer.
Okay, Rabbi Eliezer, Talmud Tractate Pesachim 1098. Rabbi Eliezer says, "You grab matzahs on the nights of Passover in order that the children should not fall asleep." It was taught, it was related of Rabbi Akiva, that never did he say in the Midrash, "It is time to rise," i.e. cease study, except on the eve of Passover and on the eve of the Day of Atonement. On the eve of Passover, because of the children, so that they may not fall asleep, so that they would rise and cease studying. Right? On the eve of the Day of Atonement, in order they should give food to their children.
So here we go. So we'll deal with the second paragraph first, and then we'll go back to the first paragraph. Second paragraph says Rabbi Akiva never kicked anyone out of the study hall. You learn as long as you want, go all night, whatever. What about your family? Figure it out with your spouse. I mean, whatever your schedule is, your schedule is. But 2 times a year, he said, y'all got to go home, right? Or you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, right? And what are those 2 nights? Closing time at the Beit Medrash. Number 1, night of Passover. Why y'all got to go home? Have a Seder early enough where your kids are still engaged. Of course, it has to be after nightfall, but still at the earlier side as opposed to the later side. And Erev Yom Kippur, Erev Day of Atonement, in order to feed the kids before the fast. Now, but let's talk about the first paragraph. We grab matzahs on the night of Passover so that the kids should not fall asleep. What does it mean to grab matzahs? Seems weird, right? What are we grabbing matzahs? So the commentaries discuss this. That is literally the quote from the Talmud, but what does the Talmud mean? What is the reference? So for this, we have Talmudic commentaries. In fact, we have no less than multiple. I think we're going to have 3 different opinions on this, or 3 different perspectives. And so let's jump in. Toba, please pick it up. Text 2a, Rashi.
We raise the Seder plate so that the children will inquire. Others explain grab the matzah to mean that we eat it quickly. This is the more probable explanation, judging from the fact that the anecdote with Rabbi Akiva is associated with it.
Here we go. Rashi, who is the foremost commentary on both the Torah and the Talmud. Rashi, Rabbi Shomi Yitzchaki, he lived in the 11? You see it there, the 1040 to 1105. So he gives 2 explanations. Number 1, we raise the Seder plate so the kids will inquire, meaning you have a Seder plate, you lift it, you move it, you swing it around, and the kids are like, what are you doing with the food? Aha, glad you asked. Let's talk about this. We're not going to the food right away. We're actually going to stretch this out a little bit and have a conversation because tonight is not a normal night. It's not a normal dinner. It's Passover. That's the first explanation. Second explanation, that's what means grab the matzah, move it around. Second explanation is hurry up. Move through it quickly to get to the matzah before the kids fall asleep. Sometimes the kids will fall asleep before you get to the main dish, i.e. the matzah. You don't want your kids, right, tapping out before you get to the matzah. So grab the matzah means, as I say in Hebrew, yalla, let's go. Let's go. Let's move it. That is all Rashi. Rashi's two interpretations. Text to be, let's just keep it. Yeah.
Pay attention in Hebrew, the word is potfin.
Right.
So, it's even faster than prayer. Lachtov in Hebrew is actually to kidnap or to steal. So
right.
Also, I'm just saying, they use this word because you could say topsimata.
It means it's so really quick. It's not just grab, but it's
like stealing.
Yeah, like copying, as
you're saying about this class. Stealing.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. We are gonna get there.
He should make changes on this night so that the children will see and will be motivated to ask, why is this night different from all other nights? Until he replies to them, this and this occurred, this and this took place. Okay, so this is now Maimonides. So we have Rashi, Maimonides, who lived roughly in the same era, a little bit later, but roughly in the same time period. Maimonides, and these are known as the Rishonim. Rashi, Rambam, the great commentaries, they're called the Rishonim, the early commentaries. So he says the following, he says, we make changes. We make changes on this night. We make changes in order to be curiosity. Now, what are those changes, Donna? Please continue on top of the next page. What changes should be made? He should give to them roasted seeds and nuts. The table should be taken away before they eat. Matzah should be snatched from each other and the like.
So here we go. Maimonides says, different foods, move the table away again, because you start with the food, but they're like, we're not going to eat yet. Let's move the table away. Let's have a conversation. We'll bring the food later. And then matzah should be snatched from each other. So he has his own take on this. Again, using almost the language of the Talmud, matzah should be snatched from each other, which also seems a little strange. Or I don't know if it also seems strange, but it's like, okay, it's still a little bit opaque. What does that actually mean? Okay, text to C. Sandrine, please continue. Here we have the Rashbam, another commentary from the same era, who weighs in on this Talmudic passage.
We remove the matzah from the end of the children so that they should not fall asleep due to the abundance of food and thus not be able to ask further. Now that the food is taken from their hands, they will not fall asleep and they will be awake to ask questions later.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. He says you take away the food. Why do you take away the food? Because if they eat, they're going to go to sleep. You see how you can use the same different logic to get to the same thing? If you want to keep the kids awake, one commentary says, feed them quickly, get to the point. Another commentator says, no, don't get to the point. You get to the point, they're going to fall asleep right away. You got to drag it out, schlep it out, schlep those matzahs, pull the matzahs away. They want the matzah. No, not so fast. Where you going, right? Take it easy. Take it easy. All right, so different.
Who are these people?
Who are these people? So here we go. Let's keep on going with this, because so far we have a Talmudic passage, 3 different Rishonim, 3 different early commentaries that are weighing in on this. And now we have a later commentary from the 16 and 1700s. This is Rabbi Yaakov ben Yosef Reisher, the Chok Yaakov, who wrote commentaries to the Code of Jewish Law. And he is known as not a Rishon, but an Achron, the Achronim, the latter day commentaries. That almost sounds like something else, but the later commentaries. And he has his own thoughts about what this is looking like. Oded, please take it.
Maimonides writes, matzah should be snatched from each other and the like. It's possible that the custom in those parts that the children snatch the Afikoman evolved from this. This is done so that the children will stay awake and ask the question. See Rashbam there.
There we go. He quotes the Rashbam that we just read. The point is they don't eat the matzah right away. We put matzah away for later, but we involve the kids. And he says, perhaps what the Talmud says and what Maimonides kind of talks about, where we're snatching matzahs from each other. He says maybe on a practical level that has evolved into the custom where kids will take the Afikoman, the middle matzah piece that's broken, and they will quickly hurry it away, hide it somewhere in the house, till the parents have to find it. That keeps the kids engaged because they're waiting for the parents to find it, to search it, to give them clues, hot, cold. That's what we used to play, right? Are you getting cold, are you getting hotter, getting closer, further away, etc. That keeps them engaged. That keeps the evening buzzing, keeps the kids excited. It's fun for the whole mishpacha, fun for the whole family. You guys with me so far?
That's the question I ask it every year.
Absolutely, yes.
Every year I always forget what the
sure.
I never get an answer. What does the word Afikoman mean? What is an Afikoman? Anybody?
You never.
I asked. The middle matzah.
You never met an Afikoman? It's
maybe I just don't know if I have or not.
It's a chicken dish with a side sauce. What do you mean? Afikoman, I believe it's related to the word dessert.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Dessert. Yeah. It means like dessert.
I believe so.
So the matzahs are.
We have to look at it. We can look it up, but I believe etymologically it's somehow related. Could be wrong.
Not the matzah you sent me.
No, I don't think so. It's probably composite of something.
Isn't Ari, isn't Afikoman Greek?
Could be. Is that what you just said? Yeah, Stern also said. It could be Greek, but honestly, it's all Afikoman to me.
So,
okay, yeah.
This whole thing that we're talking about for 15 minutes, all about keeping the kids engaged.
Yeah.
And like 17 different interpretations.
Yes. But we're gonna ask a bombshell question.
Like why?
Why are we talking about it?
Yeah.
We're gonna get there.
Okay.
We're gonna get there. I'm like the matzah snatching. I'm keeping you to the end of the class. That's how we. I'm not going to give you the matzah right away. Who would do that? I would be crazy. All right, text 3b. Here we go. Let's triple down on this custom.
There is a custom in Ashkenazi communities for the children to snatch the Afikoman. This custom can be traced to the Talmud, which states we grab matzahs on the nights of Pesach. All right,
so thank you. So here we have, again, it's very clear. There's a custom. It's sourced in the Talmud, early commentaries. There are different variations of this, but by some communities, some families, the parents hide it and the kids have to look for it. Some of the kids hide it and the parents have to look for it. The one that stayed in these last two texts where the kids take it. And that's the dealio. So we've established it, and now let's present the question. This is text 4. And what we'll see now over the next few texts is that there are many great rabbis, scholars, etc., commentaries that comment and say that this is actually not a good custom, and perhaps the custom even should be abolished. And we'll see the rationales why this is not a good custom. Text number 4. Julian, please take it away.
The custom in which the children snatch the Afikoman betrays the love for a mitzvah. Nonetheless, they are grounds to protest in an elders' custom.
Look at that. He says, even though it shows that you love the mitzvah, you're excited about it, everyone's engaged, nonetheless, we might want to get rid of it. Why? What's wrong? We'll continue text number 5.
The custom for children to snatch the Afikoman is frivolous and baseless. Heaven spare us should the Gentiles hear that the Jews teach their children thievery and commemorate the exodus from Egypt. Finally, refrain is deserving of praise.
Listen, in the Orchel Chaim, that's what he says. Look, hey, what are we teaching our kids? It's like, oh, we're free, we're a nation, and how are we going to celebrate? Let's steal things. Like, what? Imagine if they only heard. Oh my gosh, what, you want to literally like support all the stereotypes? It's almost like, how do we celebrate Hanukkah? You know, with the Hanukkah gelt, like they make it into chocolate, like we're eating money. Like, seriously? Really? Right? What do the Jews do on Hanukkah? What do the kids do? We feed them money? It's like, really? That's the symbolism? That's what we want people to see? Give out. You don't even think about it sometimes, but it's like, is that the messaging? He's like, what are we doing behind closed doors at our Seder? You're teaching kids to steal, to be underhanded? Now, hold on one second. He's not the Grinch who stole the Afikoman or who stole the Seder. He's not trying to be like, I don't know, like a killjoy. But he kind of is also. He's basically saying, yes, it's engaging the kids. Yes, it's keeping them engaged and excited at the end of the Seder. Sure. However, but what are you teaching them? To steal? To hide things from their parents? Right? To be duplicitous? To be kind of furtive? Is that the right word? Right? Is that what we're teaching? Why are we teaching that? What's the point? I know the ends, but do the ends really justify the means? That is the question that is being posed right now. Let's continue with text number 6. Here's a story. All right, take it away.
The custom in some communities is that the children snatch the Afikoman, which is thereafter redeemed for a gift, claiming that it's founded in the words of the Talmud. We grab matzahs on the nights of Passover so that the children should not fall asleep. The previous Rebbe related that one time, as a little girl, the Rebbe Maharash's eldest daughter snatched the Afikoman from her father. It seems that this was the exception, as the custom of snatching the Afikoman was not practiced in the Rebbe's home.
There you go. So anecdotally, it happened once, it seems, but it wasn't a thing that happened. And again, it might be that it didn't happen because we're not teaching kids to snatch, even if we're joking, even if everyone's in on it, but to teach children to take something from the parents, from the father's Seder plate, and to hide it, even though everyone's in on it. Why are we doing that? I want to reclaim the custom. That's what we're going to do. Even reclaim. It's like a good table, reclaimed wood. Right? It's like, oh, we found a barn from the 1700s, and now we have a table for you. Like, that's what we're going to do to this custom. We're going to reclaim. Yes.
And other Mefoshim, there is no the custom that the parents hide Afikoman.
It's interesting. Oh, so we had that custom. You mentioned it, right?
It was mentioned, but I'm saying, is it not mentioned?
So there might be other sources to talk about that. The angle that we're taking with the question, though, is why are we teaching this? Why is this chinuch? Why is this Passover? It's the one night that we're engaging the kids the most in a like an intentional setting. Why is this the education that we're giving? Why, of all the messages, right? Yeah, there's a lot of messages on Passover. But why is this a thing on Passover night? Now, if the parents took it, that would be another question, but that's less of a question, I think, in this context, as why are we teaching this to the kids? Why is this the early education or the education model that we're presenting as like we're putting up on a pedestal? Are there sources for the other custom? I'm sure there are. We cherry pick ones that are related to this to ask the question.
Don't have those issues. If the parents are hiding it,
it's still a problem. No, it's still not this. It's not the same problem, but it's still, you're still hiding. I mean, we'll ask a question: is it emotionally healthy for parents to hide things from their kids? I would say not. Right? I mean, it depends when, depends what context. But again, the idea of, like, sometimes I'll say, if I'm officiating a wedding under a chuppah, the reason why a chuppah, right, canopy, doesn't have any walls is because in a family, the goal is to create a family in which there are no walls between spouses, between parents and children and parents. The idea is openness, above, everything's transparent, that sort of thing. So that's a healthy thing. You have now a scenario where the kids are taken from parents and hiding it. Well, why are we teaching that? Even if the parents look at it, would be a question, but you're right, it might not be the same angle, which is why we're not pursuing that angle. But I want to share with you tonight that actually this idea of deception and hiding is not just an outlier when it comes to the themes of Passover, but it's the bread and butter of Passover. And to do this,
the bread and butter.
That's why we put you right here. Oh, it's the poor man bread and butter of Passover, because as we'll see, Passover and the Seder night is filled with deception themes in the strangest of places. And now I want to tell you the first act of deception that happened on Passover. Not the first, but the first one that we're going to, the second one, we have the custom of the Afikoman, but let's talk about another one, major. So here's some background. I don't have it in text, but you'll have to take my word for it. As a rabbi, I pledge to be telling the truth and nothing but the truth. So here we go. The security guard at the bottom asked me what holiday is, and he's like, and make sure not to say anything incorrect. I'm like, okay, I will. So here we go. You guys ready? When Moses first goes to Pharaoh, Moshe and Paro, right? So God, let's just rewind a quick second. So God speaks to Moses at the burning bush. He says, hey, how's it going? I'm kidding. He says, I choose you to deliver the Jewish people. You're gonna be the representative on earth. Take the Jews out, and that's it. And Moses says, you got the wrong guy. I'm not a leader. I don't want to be a leader. I'm not a great communicator. I'm out. And God says, well, you can't be out because I literally am telling you you're doing it. And back and forth they went for about 7 days until Moses finally relents and he says, fine, I'll do it. And God says, I knew you would say yes. And that's it. God tells Moses, here is what you're going to tell Pharaoh. It's not complicated. And say it with me. Let my people go. However, it keeps on going. The original message was, God says to Moses to tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Moses should say, so says the God of Israel, let my people go so that they may serve me. In other words, it wasn't Moses saying, let my people go. It was Moses quoting God saying, let my, with a capital M, people go so that they may serve me. But what's fascinating, what's that? Turn off the ringer and then WhatsApp hijacks. Anyway, so here we go. You ready? When Moses first speaks to Pharaoh, he says something that I think most of us overlook. It's dramatic and it's impactful. Moses says to Pharaoh, we want to go out of Egypt for 3 days. On a 3-day journey into the wilderness to bring sacrifices, to serve God. That's what we want.
And we're coming back.
1 second. No. He asked for 3 days. He said 3 days. 3 days. Yes, legit. 3 days. Right there. Yeah, right there. One of those. Any of those.
It's like the 3-hour tour.
Bum, 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 bum. So sit right back and I'll tell. Let's love a vape full drip. Okay, here we go. So the beginning of Exodus. The beginning of the book of Exodus. So.
Not only did they do that, they insulted Pharaoh. They said they were going to go into the wilderness and worship our God. They were going out there for a specific reason.
To
worship Hashem.
Right. Exactly.
Not the Pharaoh.
Right, exactly.
Who is God's emissary on earth.
Who he, huh? You found it already? Was it 5 what? Thank you for expediting this because we'll be here all night. Oh, here we go. They said, okay, so Moses said, so God says, I'll give you Aaron. You need a spokesman? Grab a brother. Come on, make a plan. They, Moses, Aaron, said to Pharaoh, the God of the Hebrews has appeared to us. Let us therefore make a 3-day journey into the wilderness so that we can sacrifice to God, our God, right? Again, a little, as he did the shashtech, like a little dig, lest he strike us with a plague or by sword. When they say us, they meant you, right? They said us in the royal us, which means you, lest they strike us, you and your people. So let us go. But they asked specifically for a 3-day journey. Okay, that's what they asked. And then, yes.
But what I just found out recently is that the 3-day journey was all it took to get to Mount Sinai. I didn't realize that.
So it could have been 3 days, right? So, but and consistently, that was the first time they spoke. They mentioned 3 days, and they never, at no other point did they ever say, "Oh, we've changed the ask. We're asking indefinitely. We're not coming back." They never said. Wow. And so, what you find is this a few things. This explains a lot. Remember what happens after the 10th plague, and finally Pharaoh breaks and he's like, okay, you guys can go. Get out of here. What's the next scene?
Not so fast.
Not so fast, right? And what does he do? He chases after them. Take a look. Take a look at the next text. Take a look at this. This is mind-boggling.
I remember.
Which plague is that?
Mind-boggling. After, huh?
Which plague is that released?
No, after the 10th plague.
The final plague.
Killing of the first.
Yeah, when they get out there. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Text 7a.
It was told to the king of Egypt that the people had fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people. And they said, what have we done? How could we have released Israel from serving us?
I have a simple question. It's such a klutz kasha, it doesn't even make sense. It was told to the king of Egypt that the people have fled. Fled? I beg your pardon. Fled. He was told the people fled. He literally told them to leave. He got up in the middle of the night. His son died because he had a firstborn son. He was next. Pharaoh was a firstborn also. He was afraid for his life. He searches for Moses. He says, get your people out of here. And the next scene, it was told to him that the people have fled. Amnesia? What is this? A badly written movie where the scenes don't line up? What?
It's how the BBC.
What does it mean? It was told that the people had told. Number one, he had to be told. Number two, fled. You already have the answer. You already know the answer by now. When he said at plague 10, go, what did he mean? How do I know this? Look at 7b.
And Pharaoh arose at night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was great outcry in Egypt, for there was no house in which no one was dead. So he called for Moses and Aaron at night, and he said, "Get up and get out from among my people, both you as well as the children of Israel, and go worship the Lord as you have spoken."
What are those last words? As you have spoken, i.e., as you've requested. He says, finally, this is the night of the 10th plague. He says, go as you asked. What does that mean?
3 days.
3 days. Comes day 4, and there's no sign of the return. He was told to him that the people had fled. He knew he sent them out. He knew very well. He didn't need anyone to tell him that he sent them out. He knew he sent them out. What was he told? Day 4. Take a look at text 8. Rashi. Look at text 8, Rashi. I'm going to read this. It was told to the king of Egypt. Pharaoh sent officers with them. And as soon as the 3 days the Israelites had set to go into the desert and return had elapsed, and the officers saw that they were not returning to Egypt, they came and informed Pharaoh on the 4th day. So here you have the Jews schlepping along for 3 days. Men, women, children, cattle. They couldn't have gone that far in 3 days, right? They're moving at a slower pace. Egyptian spies, chaperones, whatever, are with them. Day 4 arrives, no sign. They head back. They bust back to Egypt like, Pharaoh, we got a problem, right? Cairo, we've got a problem. I don't know if that was Cairo, right? Ramses, we've got a problem. What's the problem? The Jews are not planning on returning. Guess who lied? Sorry, let me say that a little nicer. Guess who deceived Pharaoh? It rhymes with noses. I wonder who you might say has deceived Pharaoh. I want to ask you, let me frame it differently. Imagine if when Pharaoh says, go as you have requested, kedaberchem, as we've communicated, as we've discussed. Imagine if Pharaoh said, imagine if Moses would have said, oh, by the way, just now spitballing and thinking, we're not planning on coming back. Why didn't you just tell him that? Should be above board. Pharaoh now does not sure. He's thinking they're coming back. They're not coming back. They lied. He's chasing them. What is this? Who needs the chasing? I know what you're thinking. Every good movie needs a chasing. You're not going to have a chariot chasing. This is before the big car crash scenes in movies, or maybe alongside those. They had the big chariot chase scene, which ends not in a fireball, although it ends with the sea collapsing, which is kind of dramatic, right? Every big blockbuster needs that. However, why wasn't he up front, above board, right, above the sea, and just say, hey, Pharaoh, or as he calls him, Fair, I'm out. We're out. We're not coming back. We're gone. See you later, alligator.
With the crooked, you got crooked.
Okay, I hear that. If you deal with this swindler, you swindle. I hear that. Okay, but we need a little bit more explanation. That's the second scenario of duplicity.
So when Pharaoh kicked them out, did he really anticipate they were going to come back in 3 days?
According to Rashi, again, the most basic biblical commentary, 1,000%. When he said, go as you've requested, he meant the whole time what was on the table. They were negotiating. Think about this. They were negotiating the whole time over the 3 days. Pharaoh, by some of the plagues in the middle, we don't have all the time. He says, okay, I'll let you go. Who's going? Moses, the men? No, men, women, and children. No, forget it. What did he mean? What, they're going to go forever and leave the kids behind? No, for the 3 days. You want to go on a religious excursion to the desert? Burning goat? You want to go? I'm trying. Right? You want to go and create this festival? We'll call it Fire or whatever, and make a documentary on Netflix about it, right? You want to go on this desert-bound adventure? Great. Want to serve God? Fantastic. Who's going? Everybody? That's weird. How many animals do you need? Moses says, all of them. What? That's bizarre. Moses like, well, we don't know which ones we need.
For 3 days?
For 3 days? You need everybody and all the animals? I don't think so. And then finally he says, fine, go, whatever you want to do, go. Just get out of here. And then they don't show up. Again, none of this is Kabbalah, Medrash. It's all Chumash, Rashi. Basic narrative. I think sometimes it gets lost in the shuffle. The only request that was ever on the table was for 3 days. And Pharaoh relents and says, go as you've requested. 3 days, unspoken, 3 days. They don't come back. He chases them. And the scene continues. Now let's pick up the story. Act 3. Act what? 3 acts of deception at our Seders, stealing the Afikoman. Act 2, Moses deceiving Pharaoh. Act number 3. You ready for this? Act number 3. Yeah, didn't the messengers, questions asked, didn't the messengers see that from the beginning the Israelites are coming with all their belongings as a sign of leaving for good? When they took everything, didn't they realize that they're leaving forever? It's a good question. Could be that they weren't. They just needed stuff. And you know, we pack heavy. Jews pack heavy. You ever see Jews going to Orlando for Pesach? Forget about it. The whole Florida's going to sink with all that stuff. Now, back to the story. Back to the story. Third act of deception. We're going to move quickly. Third act of deception is super famous story of deception in the Torah, and that is the stealing of the blessings. What happens? Let's go. This is going back even earlier. Right now, let's go back a few hundred years prior to the Exodus. Isaac and his 2 sons, his twin sons, Yitzchak Avinu, the second of our patriarchs. Yitzchak, Isaac, is older. He can't see anymore. He has twin sons, Esau and Jacob, Esau and Yaakov. He calls his older son. He says, Esau, I'd like you to bring me food. And then when I eat the food, I will bless you. Bring me goats, kid goats. We'll make the food, prepare it, whatever. I'll eat it, and then I'll bless you. Meanwhile, Isaac's wife, Rebecca, hears about this. And what does she say? What does she do? She goes immediately to her the younger twin, Jacob. And she says, hey, Jacob, go ahead. Don't hunt the goats. Get the goats from the pen. Bring them. I'm going to cook them like your father likes. You'll go in. You'll get the blessings. What if he's going to realize it's not me? No, you'll wear the skins of your brother. You'll pretend like you're deceit. What's going on? Deceit. Okay. I'm going to share some stuff that's going to blow your mind. Let's go. Let's read some more text inside. I'm going to read these. Medrash, text number 9. Oh, yeah, before you read it, don't look. Oh, you looked already. Okay. When did this happen? Yes, you looked. Passover. I don't know who looked, but someone looked. That night, text 9. That night was the first night of Passover. Oh, okay. Hold on. 1 second. It's the night that would in the future be known. It's like the opposite of Prince, right? He was the artist formerly known as Prince. This would be the day futurely known as Passover. Here we go. That night was the first night of Passover. Isaac called over his older son, Esau, and said, my son, tonight the celestial hosts are singing praise to God. The gates of rain are open. Tonight is a blessing for rain, right? You say, we say, all right, whatever. Prepare delicacies for me so I can bless you while I still live. Esau went to bring food and got stuck. You know what? It was a bad day at the hunting grounds. Rebecca said to Jacob, my son, the gates of rain are open tonight. Tonight the celestial hosts are singing praise to God. Prepare delicacies for your father to eat so he can bless you while he still lives. But the point is that night was Passover. Where's another indication that it's Passover? I'll tell you where it's an indication. Remember what happened? So Jacob, the younger son, who wasn't supposed to be there, brings the food to his father. And his father eats. He's suspicious, but he gives him the blessings. And then Jacob leaves. And then the older brother comes, Esau comes. And he says, hey, Dad, here's the food. And his father's like, uh-oh, weren't you already here? No, I already ate. I already blessed. It's too late. The kid says, Esau says, don't you have another blessing? Take a look at text 10a. Go now. Oh, actually, I'm going to get back to that lead-in. Here's another lead-in. Text 10a. Go now. This is Isaac's command to his older son. Go now. Sorry, this is Rebecca's command to her younger son to pull off the swindle. Go now to the flock and take for me from their 2 choice kids. And I'll make them into tasty foods for your father as he likes. Why 2 choice kids? It's a lot of food. That's a lot of food. Text 10b. Did Isaac's menu really consist of 2 kid goats? That's a lot of food. Rashi didn't say that, brackets. That's just the editors pointing that out. The explanation is that he sacrificed one as a paschal offering and the other was prepared as a delicacy. One was the carbon, the offering. One was dinner. 2 goats, 2 goats, 2 goats. Take a look at text 11. This is what I was leading to before. When Esau finally comes around, then Isaac shuddered a great shudder. He was afraid, and he said, who then is the one who hunted game and brought it to me, and I ate of everything while you had not yet come, and I blessed him. He too shall be blessed. What is going on? I already gave the blessing, already ate the food. When Esau heard his father's words, next page, he cried out a great and bitter cry and said to his father, bless me too, O my father. And he said, Isaac says to Esau, your brother came with cunning and took your blessing. I'll ask you an obvious question. What, you don't have another blessing? You can't eat more food? If it was hot to food, you can't. The answer is no. You know why? You know why he couldn't eat more food? You know why.
Oh, it's finished. He finished the Afikoman.
He ate the Afikoman. He ate the Afikoman. Text 12, one is not allowed to eat anything after the Afikoman. Back in the day, the Afikoman was not matzah. The Afikoman was a piece of the Carbon Pesach. It was the Paschal offering. That's how they ended the Seder. We don't have a Carbon Pesach. We don't have a temple. We don't bring the offering. So we replace it today with a piece of broken matzah. Back in the day, they actually had beef for dessert. That would be interesting at your next Simcha buffet. It's like, oh, after the main course, we line up for dessert. And you have little, what look like pudding cups, and inside is steak. You'd be like, what is happening? That's what they did back in the day. They ended off the Seder meal with Afikoman. What was Afikoman? Carbon Pesach, Paschal lamb.
Oh,
and so
we do it with matzah because we don't have the Paschal.
Because we don't have Paschal lamb. So it's symbolic. We're symbolically replacing it. But back in the day, they would actually have a Carbon Pesach. They'd actually have some lamb. Listen to this. Listen to this. So what happens is, so Isaac eats the Seder. He has his Seder. He eats the lamb. And he also has the Afikoman. Now his older son comes to him and says, hey, I brought you food. He's like, I actually can't eat. I can't eat anymore. Not that I can't eat. I'm not allowed to eat. Text 12, one is not allowed to eat anything after the Afikoman. By the way, listen to this numerology for all you numerology fans. And I know where you are. I'm not a DJ. So, he says to his son, your brother has come b'mirma. What does b'mirma mean?
Cunning. With
treachery, deceit, and cunning. B'mirma is b'gematria, numerology, Afikoman. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. B'mirma, with cunning, is literally the same numerology as Afikoman. You know what that means? It means I already ate the Afikoman.
Isaac didn't say that. One is not allowed to eat anything.
That's the halacha. That's Jewish law.
But Isaac didn't give that as a reason.
He said, B'mirma, your brother came with treachery. I can't eat anymore. Why can't he eat? And what does B'mirma mean? Numerologically, it's equivalent to whatever it is, to Afikoman. Now, here's the point. 1 second. So here we go. The point of all this is, there's one simple point, that we have 3 illustrations of deception on the night of Passover, or regarding Passover. Number 1, Afikoman stealing. What's up with that? Number 2, Moses deceives and tricks Pharaoh. Number 3, Isaac is deceived by his wife, by his son, by Rebecca, and by Jacob. What is with the deceit? And how is this thematically connected with Passover, which is about freedom, education, etc.? And so here is what I want to share with you. Let's talk directly to us in a very personal, a very real way. Each one of us has our own Egypt, has our own Pharaoh inside. What do I mean by that? In Hebrew, the Hebrew word for Egypt is Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is related to the Hebrew word Meitzah. Mitzarim, constraints, limitations, borders, boundaries, narrow spaces. Mitzrayim are the narrow spaces. Each of us has narrow spaces within us, within our psychology, within our psyche. We have narrow spaces. What are the narrow spaces? Anything that holds you back. And the things that hold us back the most are not outside. Yes, of course, there are things that can hold us back on the outside, but by and large, what holds us back more than anything else is internal stuff, fears. Right? Fears and worries and anxieties and other sorts of things, jealousy, anger, other character things that we have. That's the big stuff that holds us back is inside of us. Those are the constraints. That's our Pharaoh. That's our inner Egypt that holds us back. And every year on Passover, our calling, b'chol dar v'dar, in every generation, and the Alter Rebbe adds, u'v'chol yom v'yom, and every single day, Chayev Adam lirot et atzmo ki ilu hu yatsa hayom miMitzrayim. Everyone should see to it today to leave Egypt. That means today, ask yourself the question: how am I breaking out of my limitation? How am I challenging myself to go beyond my borders, my nature, my comfort zone today? What am I doing to challenge myself? And oftentimes, what keeps us stuck where we are, is the notion, is the sense that we are not worthy of something greater. What holds us back more than anything else is not our feeling of arrogance and the like, but rather our feeling of inadequacy. It's this, I would call it this, for lack of a better term, treif humility. The humility that shows up like this. So I'm going to come to shul every week. What am I, religious? What am I, religious? What are people going to say about me? What am I going to say about myself? Who is this guy that's showing up every week? I'm going to put on tefillin every day? What? I'm going to kosher my kitchen? Who is this person? I'm going to reach out to someone. I'm going to load up my car with matzah and hand it out to anyone that I see that needs a box of matzah. I'm going to do that. Who am I to do that? Where's that voice coming from? You think that's your godly soul, your Yetzer Tov, your good inclination that's saying that? No, what are you kidding me? It's your negative part. It's our negative part that says that. That's couched in humility. Who am I to do that? But meanwhile, it's just keeping us down, keeping us away from positivity. And so what do you tell yourself? What do you tell yourself? How do you break out of the clutches of Pharaoh, of Egypt, the internal Egypt? So here's a strategy. Tell yourself, me? I'm not becoming religious. I'm just going for 3 days to yeshiva. Me? I'm just going to one service. I'm going to go to one kosher restaurant for lunch. My good buddy. Right? I'm just doing one thing. Doing one thing. What do you mean? I'm not totally changing my life. That would be totally reckless. Pharaoh, I'll be back. Sometimes to go, you got to deceive. Who are you deceiving? You think Pharaoh's out there? Yourself. Your inner Pharaoh. The inner voice that says, no, I'm scared. You tell yourself, take it easy. Don't be scared. I'll be right back. And then you take another step. Don't worry, I'm still coming back. But this time you have to project a little louder because you're a little further away. And then you know what? The next day you said, I'm still planning on coming back. You keep on moving forward. That's the way out of Egypt. The journey of what? Who's the Chinese proverb? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Because if you think about 1,000 miles, way too daunting. You're going to tell Pharaoh I'm gone forever, he'll get very nervous. He would get very, very, like, his anxiety level through the roof. Even 3 days, he was a little anxious. Eventually, he relented. But you tell him I'm gone forever. I'm like, no, that's not even safe. What are you going to do without me? Who are you without me? Do you even know who you are? Do you feel safe in new environs, in a situation that you've never been? Is it reckless? Is that okay to be reckless? You tell yourself, I know, you're right. I'm not going forever. I'm just going a little bit. Moses deceives Pharaoh and the Jews deceive Egypt to teach us and to really model the process of growth. Don't tell yourself the change is forever. Small bites. Small bites. We once had a speaker. We actually had her recently, in the Devorah Kreiman, spoke about her personal journey, her personal story. She spoke a few years ago as well, and she shared a story which she didn't share recently. College students did a study where they tried to figure out if they could eat a chair. Can you eat a chair? And they discovered you can eat a chair. How? One bite at a time. What they did was, it was a wooden chair, and they took sandpaper, and they created little, little dust, and they mixed it with their food. I am not saying this is healthy or anyone should do this. I am not rubber stamping this at all. Do not try this at home. But they tried it in school, because when you go to school, in college, all things go. They tried this, and you can eat a chair when you do that. But you tell yourself, I'm going to eat the whole chair at once. Not happening. Not happening. You're going to get stalled out. Not going to happen. Take a step. Be back in 3 days. One bite. That's it. We're going to make it happen. And then just advance further. Deception. How do you get the blessings away from Esau? One deception at a time, a little deception. Right? Afikoman. The message of Passover. And this is the message we're telling our kids. This is why it's such an important theme on Passover. It's not the anti-Passover. It's the Passover. How do you get out? You tell your kids, how do you get unstuck? Small steps. Small steps. Think about your whole life in front of you and all your choices and everything. How am I going to be good, a good person for my whole life and make healthy choices? So daunting. Take it easy. Not so fast. One step at a time. Tell yourself once that, even if in your own mind, You plan on never coming back. Tell yourself, deceive yourself one step at a time.
Was this tell the people they were really going for 3 days?
I think they knew. The message is you should know, but you should be deceiving the inner Pharaoh. And I know what you're thinking, but aren't you your inner Pharaoh? It's all, if you know, doesn't it know?
Or do you think that they wouldn't go if they thought they were leaving?
That's a good question, actually. That's a good question. Were they ready for it? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think they knew.
Not everyone left.
Right, 4/5 didn't leave. That's a good point
Are
also.
you saying that a little deception is a good thing?
Yes. Channeled in the right way, not deceiving. We're not talking about fraud. Not talking about this deceit.
This is where it comes in handy. You can deceive the deceiver.
Oh, that's the part. That's what you said before. Deceive the deceiver. The one who's trying to hold you back, a little deception. He's the
deceiver.
He's the deceiver, right? He's trying to get you to do something that's not healthy.
Play his game.
Deceive the deceiver. Fight fire with fire. And so we tell our children, we teach our families on that at Passover. When you see matzah, when you see that bread of freedom in front of you, just grab it. Just grab it. Thank you very much for joining me tonight for Pesach Boot Camp. I hope you enjoyed tonight. I hope you are inspired to have a powerful, energetic holiday. Pesach is all about freedom, snatching freedom, grabbing freedom, stealing freedom. That's it. That's
more
the
here
thing.
at the end. Right?
There's more at the end. Yeah, you can read it. It's take home. It's reading material at home. Take it. Homework. There's a test. First night of Passover will come with a number 2 pencil. I'm kidding. All right, friends. Happy Passover. A few quick announcements. This Shabbat, we will be having, please God, Davening 101, 10:30. If you've never been to Davening 101, you want to be at Davening 101. It's so much fun. Topic is going to be determined by then. The topic is probably 10:15. The topic will be something Passover related. I don't have it exactly pinned down. So yeah, we moved to 10:15. So Passover related. So come Shabbat morning. That's one point. Second point is Passover begins Monday night. If you need help with procuring anything for the holiday, let me know. I can help direct and help put that stuff together. Number 3, if you need a Seder or need a place for a Seder, let me know again. We can help with placement for the Seders to make sure that you have a enjoyable and freeing Passover experience. We're starting a bunch of new classes and courses, and we have some lectures coming up after the holiday. I will mention that I'm working on a very special event with a survivor from Nova, from the music festival, to be right here in this building in the beginning of May. This is I don't think this is related, but I'm working with an organization to bring a survivor to Atlanta to tell his or her. I don't know who it's going to be yet. Tell his or her story with pictures from the day that they took, and so stay tuned for that information. We're putting it together. If you want to be part of that, let me know. We can use some help with that. And then otherwise, again, check your local listings. We got a lot of stuff coming up. All right, great to see you all. Chag Sameach. Happy Pesach. Jeff.
Rabbi, this was good.
Don't leave yet. I have something for you. All right.
Wonderful.
Chag Sameach. Chag Sameach. Great to see you guys. Dr. Maxey, thank you so much for the sponsorship. Jeff, thank you so much for the sponsorship of tonight. Yasher Koach. And Merle, thank you. I know you gave a sponsorship. Thank you very much for that gift as well. Well, it's great to see you guys, Frank and Ellie and Lisa, Catherine, Jason, Mom, Dr. Maxey again. Oh, David, good to see you. Dad, good to see you. Wow. Good to see you guys. Amazing. Amazing. So special. This is like literally, wow. Amazing. All right, we'll see you guys. Take care. Sei gesund, everybody.